I found a tool that I would love to show. Or show, at least talk about. Actually, I have 3, but I'll go quickly over them because I'm
Okay.
always interested in like how like small ideas businesses work. So where I find it, I'm like, oh my god, yes, of course. Like, why didn't I think of this? Like it's kind of easy to start relatively, and it just makes sense. And one of them is Crea.ai, and
Okay.
Crea.ai, basically what they did is think of Adobe Creative Cloud, but they do this in browser and with all the AI tools. So they literally just take all the APIs, like, oh, I want to create a video, I want to do an image, I want to do whatever, but they just bundle it in one bundle. So you just pay your average subscription fee like you would do for Adobe. And all of a sudden, if you want to use Nano Banana on this, it's fine. But if you want to use Midjourney on that, you can do it, or whatever other tools they have. And they kind of put all of them together, and you have the control, but you don't necessarily need the control, right? So some nerds like us, we would know, but for this, I need to use this version of this tool, right? But there, they kind of cater also to the people less sort of involved. And in any case, I just thought, well, it's super simple. They just literally bundled it. And of course, the nice UI and some marketing. So I thought that was very interesting. And another tool kind of hit a little bit closer to my personal, because about 2 years ago, I was actually thinking about this. Kind of, not really. It's kind of adjacent to it, but it's called Kinzo.ai. And what they are doing is, with a K, by the way, both of them. So Crea.ai and Kinzo. And what they are doing is simply like just plug in every messenger thing you have. Sabir, I even talked to you about this, right? My idea first and foremost was, what if you just create a platform where I was actually thinking about this for this podcast, by the way, where you don't necessarily need to have a newsletter, but you just let people subscribe however they want. If they want to have a WhatsApp message of you, if they want to have a Slack message or a Telegram or an email or whatever it is, maybe a LinkedIn DM, they can just subscribe to creators the way they want to. And therefore you have all the data, but you don't have to send an email necessarily. In any case, they do kind of the opposite, where you just plug in every communication you have. And in one platform, you can answer your WhatsApp, your email, whatever it is. And for personal life, I think, again, nerds like us, who would think this is cool. But not necessarily my dad is going to use it, I don't think. But for businesses, for example, this is incredibly useful. Of course, and then you can do some automation plays, and you can, think about all of that. So I thought those 2 were interesting. And then actually at my previous role, our investors, or one of them, also invested in a company called Create Anything, createanything.com. And I see some people nodding because you probably heard of this. But it's actually amazing because with another friend of mine, we were always thinking about like mobile apps and stuff like that. And about half a year ago, we spent about a week creating something in Cursor, right? So also AI coded, but you still have the control of the AI. But we spent
Okay.
about a week on it, and we couldn't end up shipping it for various reasons. But in any case, we had to set up the database in Firebase, and we had some bugs to figure out and all of that. In Create Anything, he did it in less than 8 hours. So literally less than a working day. Of course, we had the idea, and we kind of were WhatsApping, and we had a call of like, maybe this, but it's fully prompting, right? Think of
Yeah.
ChatGPT, but you just write it. You have, the UI is amazing. But that just goes to show to the point we had before, I think you said it, Sabir, like 1 month ago, you would have to use Cursor, spend a week, which still is ridiculous if you think about it. You can ship an app in a week. Now, like literally half a year later, I stumble, let's say, across this, and you can do it in a day, right? So that's a 5x decrease of time you need for a very similar outcome. Because of course, also just for the nerds out there, you can export it and you have the full code and you can do whatever you want to actually optimize it. But it goes, in my opinion, even above MVP level. Like it is an MVP, but if you then want to add new stuff, you can just do it through prompting, update your code base in iOS, and it's working perfectly fine. And of course, you can integrate stuff, right? So if you want to do the pricing, we were using some pricing page tool. It's all integrated. So those are 3 tools I wanna quickly shout out, and something that you should check out.
Piggybacking on that, I've been experimenting with the 3 tools. Anything, so Build Anything, or is it Create Anything or Build
Create anything.
Anything?
Yeah.
Create Anything, Lovable, and Base 44. to make kind of a website where people can call Santa. So I'm just gonna show it real quick. Um, Screen sharing, yes. And normally you guys should be able to see my screen now. You can see it?
Yes,
I
sir.
love that.
Yes, perfect. So a very quick prompting, used Clay to make the main prompt, and then I came over to this. So I'm already happy with the result. I know it's shit, huh? But it's just one prompt, so I can still work on it. This is a loggable result. It's with a countdown timer and everything, and you see that they're all in sync. It's everywhere the same, and this is the difference with anything. So I'm gonna keep experimenting in the few days, few weeks now, to see what it can become, and maybe I can link, and you can also directly link your domain name to it, and you can publish it right there. But I think you guys already knew that, right?
That's insane. And how long did you spend? I mean, you spent the prompt,
5
you had
minutes.
the idea, but in
5 minutes.
each tool, it's about 5 minutes, right? Or 10 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Another tool that I wanted to talk about, which is Google Anti-Gravity, which is such a powerful platform as well that was released a few weeks ago. And it is kind of like a Cursor sort of competitor. But the main difference is that you have the possibility to work with agents like in parallel. So you can assign tasks to agents and let them work in parallel, which is something that you cannot do, at least to my knowledge, you cannot do that with Cursor or Lovable, for example. And also you can have those agents fully own the whole process end to end. So like you can choose different modalities. So if you want to have like semi-automatic, let's say semi-autonomous development or fully autonomous, where the agent fully owns the whole process, and then it basically has access to its own browser to test the code that it generates. And as it tests it, it can grab screenshots and show them to you in the chat interface and say like, hey, here's how it, here's the test I've run. It looks like it's working. Do you approve the changes or whatever? Like, and you just basically, you can just build something just by clicking approve, or reject, so you don't have to ever touch the code if you don't want to. And that's so powerful, and it takes advantage of the Gemini 3, obviously, like thinking, reasoning capabilities, which is incredible. So yeah, that was super cool. And I managed to create a prototype of an app to basically like, I've been talking about AirOps a lot in our previous meetings. And I wanted to test this to say like, hey, can I replicate this even like in an MVP sort of way? Can I replicate AirOps just by vibe coding? And I kind of did that. Like obviously, maybe a portion of the use case that AirOps enables you to do, but still, like if I spend more time, maybe I could be able to get maybe 80% there, which is mind blowing.
You know what's crazy? That we're just casually talking about 5 or 6 tools that could just do this for you. Whereas previously, like thinking back of Adobe, I've been using it for, 10 plus years at this point. Like I always funnily say I'm getting old, but I kind of, in this industry, I can kind of start really meaning it. But like if we wanted to make like a vector file or whatever, it was Illustrator and that was it. If you wanted to edit your photos, it was Photoshop or Lightroom. Like not really, maybe a second option that had like 5% market share or whatever it is. But the fact that we're now casually saying, oh yeah, add your credit card for $20 a month, you can do it in this and this and this tool.